Dingo Pizza presents SDP, the Steve Dangle Podcast, with your hosts, Steve Dangle, Adam Wilde, and Jesse Blake.
Let's go!
So, you know when your friend bag books you? When they send out a vague status update. It's an old term because bag booking was like a thing to be like, just missing him, like stuff like that, or like, don't you just hate it when people are so fake?
That used to be,
you get that all the time.
MSN status.
Yeah.
This was back in the day. I never had ICQ though.
No, I had it for like a week, but then I got scared, and because I used to try to talk to girls, and I was no good at that in grade 6, and so
even with the cute Elmo notification,
they'd be like, yeah, no, it didn't work out for me that well. So no, but I got vague booked by Steve in our messages before the show. Tell me what you think of this. So I asked Steve. I said, Steve, can you grab some coffee on the way over? And he's like, yeah, sure. And then I guess he went into a Tim Hortons and he said, I noped out of that Tim's.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was like,
I probably should have expanded on that.
So I was like, does that mean I should get a coffee or not get a coffee?
But the full thing that I should have said was, I noped out of that store, so I'm coming to get a free one.
Oh, because we have free coffee here.
Which was the explanation, but instead...
It's a Bell Media thing, by the way.
Yeah, so. Adam called me to... Okay, free off. Rogers has one, too! And
which
Adam
side?
called me to
Rogers
be like...
does not have
Rogers
free
doesn't
coffee.
have free coffee.
Rogers absolutely has free coffee. At Sportsnet?
Sportsnet is different.
Sportsnet, do they, in the little kitchen there?
So you were on the digital side. Oh, I'm sorry. Jesse had to take like 50 steps to go get a variety of free coffee and a faucet.
All I know is wherever you walk around this Bell Media beautiful campus, you will find a little coffee machine with free coffee.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Okay.
Jesse, how many free coffees did you get at Rogers?
Last show, the toilets didn't work. All right?
That was the construction
That's the water main
Oh!
The toilets didn't work because they blew a hole in one of the water mains when they were digging it up.
Have they considered not having one? Maybe don't have a hole in your water main.
It would be super great if they stopped digging up Richmond Street. That would be super.
It's never going to happen.
Super
every
duper great.
part of Toronto ever.
And you know what? They're like, hey, you know when we're going to do it? In the middle of winter when we can't fix it. It's just frozen solid.
You know
we can't do anything.
Every Tuesday night when I'm sitting in traffic at 11 p.m.
Oh, yeah. You're in traffic on the way home.
Yeah, and no, not in downtown Toronto. I'm in like Whitby. And I'm like, you piece of shit.
Would it be easier for you to drive up to the 407?
Yes. No,
faster?
I get off in Ajax now and I just go around it. It's friggin' the worst. Yeah, so sorry to vague book you. So what I should have said was, I'm going to get free coffee instead, but what ended up happening was Adam called to ask what I meant, and then he ended up getting us all coffee.
Yeah,
it was great. Thanks, man.
So, Steve was going to have a Bell Media coffee.
So. Did you surf the ice last night?
I did. There were so many games.
There were a lot of games. There's nothing on Monday, and then last night there was like, here's 40 games.
Yeah, here's 19, and they all started 7, except for like 2.
Yeah, exactly.
And, oh my God, it was wild.
I guess a bunch of teams coming off their breaks and stuff too.
I guess so. But it was so many.
So
a lot
listen,
of action.
We're gonna get into who wore the crown from the time when the Leafs blew a 3-1 lead.
I forgot to prepare my crown, so
who will you give it to, Jesse?
you gotta give me delay a little.
You've got time.
Okay.
We've got time because not only do we have this long intro to get through, which is, talking about our town and our crown.
Yeah.
Talking about...
I've never heard this before.
It's about living generously and life treating you royally. All of those things. And then Steve and I are going to give our crowns. And then, Jesse, you may give your crown after that.
Okay, I got some time.
You had some time.
I got to remember the game,
so
what happened. Yeah.
Listen. Steve, if this were Dan Carlin from Hardcore History...
it's been a while since I've listened to him.
So if Dan Carlin was going to say, live generously and life will treat you royally.
Live generously, life will treat you royally.
It's great. Why not put yourself a crown royal? Because we're going to get into Who Wore the Crown, where we, with the help of you fans out there, recognize one Leaf player each show who gives it all for the blue and white. Because it's our town, it's our crown. It's not about what you have, but what you have to give. Let's crown a Leaf that lives generously by giving it all for their team. Brought to you by your friends at Crown Royal. Live generously and life will treat you royally. Let's get into it. And Steve, today's challenge is that you give us the crown, but in the guy that narrates the Harry Potter books voice.
Oh, I don't do a good Jim Dale.
You don't do a good Jim Dale? Oh,
No,
damn, okay.
I know, I should be able to do a good Jim Dale.
You need to work on that.
I know, I'm good at impressions, but only like vague ones. Like, do you want one of my college
Sure.
professors? I can do. No,
Sure, you're a college professor.
I will say, listen, it's often difficult to give out the crown because there are so many good players, particularly forwards. There's Austin Matthews. They lost, scored again. There's Mitch Marner, wheeling and dealing. Magic Man, throwing it around. William Nylander scored again.
Oh, sure.
There's a possible candidate for you.
There's one.
Just trying to help you along.
All right.
John Tavares, he scored a goal. It was a hilarious muffin. I laughed. But the best forward in that game, because I thought the best forward the last game was Jason Spezza. There's lots of candidates every night. The best forward on the ice, Mark Pysyk, gets my crown.
Wow, you're going to give it to
First career hat trick as a forward, and it was against the Leafs because of course it was. Mark Pysyk gets the crown because I am struggling to. I can absolutely do that. I am struggling to think of a Leaf I should give it to because they blew that lead. But it's fine. Losing's good. I learned that. Isn't it nice when people teach you things because you're stupid? Isn't it nice?
Okay, we're going to get into that in just a second.
I feel like you're talking about something else when we're on a different
let's
thing.
Let's get into my crown before you get yourself into trouble, sir. Now, I'm going with Austin Matthews.
Oh, good.
Because Austin Matthews has been...
Wow.
He's been great. He's been absolutely phenomenal. He was great in this game, and it's a shame. It's a shame that performance is lost in that. You know, I think a month ago I said something along the lines of, listen, or was it, no, it might have been last week, who knows?
Probably.
But I said something along the lines of, when they're bad, they're really bad. And they can't be that bad. And Austin, in a bad game, was the best player on the ice, to me. That is what we need.
One of his strongest two-way performances of his career.
Yeah, and if we're going to lose, and it's going to be heartbreaking, if your best players were still your best players, and I'm talking Matthews, Nylander, I would put Kasperi Kapanen in there. He had a good game. Marner, not bad. Like, you know, those...
Not bad, except for giving away the empty netter.
Yeah, but yes. I mean, really.
Yes.
But the Leafs' best players were their best players. And that is where you need to be, win or lose. Your stars need to show up. Austin showed up. You get my crown. Jesse Blake, have you had enough time, sir?
25 goals.
Is a number of goals.
That's how many goals Mark Pysyk had against the Toronto Maple Leafs. Actually, it's fewer than he has goals in his career. And the Leafs allowed a hat trick against him in his unnatural position.
I think he was a career high because he had that hat trick.
Oh yeah.
I think his career high was 5. Now he has 6.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Just good shit.
Well, he knows Michael Hutchinson, right? He was a Florida Panther.
You're absolutely right, and I'm sure they had a lot of healthy scratch practices together. And so he knows all his tendencies.
Mark Pysyk.
What? Adam, you open your phone, you type your code in, you go on to Google Maps, and you find me the lie. Yes, Jesse?
Mark Pysyk, his previous career high was 4 goals in 2016-2017 with the Panthers, and now this season he has 7 goals. Scoring a hat trick.
He scored 1 less goal than his previous career high
in one game.
In one night as a forward. But losing is good. It was a good loss.
Some people were upset with William Nylander post-game.
Why?
Because he had a calm post-game interview where he wasn't as upset as people would have liked him to be. A man who hosts a TV and radio show with the initials SS went off on him and is going viral on YouTube.
Sally Struthers.
No, a different one. It's on another network that we shall not name because it is inferior to a Bell Media property.
Yeah, I don't believe I've heard of that.
SS?
Super Saiyan.
Super Saiyan.
Oh.
Yes.
He went,
He went
for 5 episodes later, he was still going,
He went full OK Boomer on William Nylander.
Oh!
And I just...
William Nylander had a really good game.
It's a little lazy to just beat a guy down for his post-game comments where he's clearly not happy about winning, but he's not blowing up and throwing garbage cans.
Sorry about losing. He's not happy
about losing. Yes, sorry.
No, he hates winning. That's William Nylander's problem.
Yeah.
That's why we need to trade him for Zach Kassian.
So-
that guy likes to win.
Mike Augello, by the way, Mike in Buffalo, gave Willie the extraordinarily unfortunate nickname of 90-second Willie because none of his post games last for more than 90 seconds. Like, the guy has never said an interesting thing in a post game ever in his life. I don't know why you expected that to be the night.
So I need to take this crown out of the crown case that we keep our 3 crowns, place it onto the head of William Nylander for always being the brunt of the garbage from the media, even when the game has really nothing to do with his play, and he had a great game, and he just had a mediocre post-game interview.
Now, as we record this show, I've already been up 10 hours, so my brain's not functioning properly anymore. I still am trying to figure out who SS is. I have no idea.
Jesse, I had a full night's sleep, and I think I know who it is at best.
Yeah.
So yesterday on Tim and Sid, Sydney Sixera.
Oh, get out.
went
So
off
Adam
on
couldn't
William
guess.
Nylander.
Adam couldn't guess, and I guessed wrong.
Who did you guess?
Steve Simmons. But then I was trying to think of where
Yeah.
it would have been on TV.
He doesn't
wouldn't
own a TV and radio.
I don't know.
Come on,
Tim and
guys.
Sid don't own Tim and Sid. Do they?
No, I meant like he doesn't host a TV and radio show. Anyways, there's this.
Sid just likes to do that to bug Leaf fans.
I know, it bugged me.
Sid
He won.
Yeah,
Damn it.
Sid lives to bug Leaf fans, even though Sid is low-key a Leaf fan. He
He
just
likes
doesn't
to
tell
bug
anyone
me.
that. He
I'll be
can't.
walking around and he'll bug me.
He can't. Well, that's his job. His job is to piss you off,
likes
and
to
he's
spar.
really good at it.
Did I tell you the Marley story?
No, what
Like
was it?
someone just like called me over to like the Tim and Sid. Here, Sid, tell Steve. And I go, what's up, man? Good to see you. The Calder Cup means nothing.
I was in the room for this.
And I go, what? The Calder Cup means nothing. Means nothing. It doesn't mean you're going to win a Stanley Cup. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't even mean you have a good organization. Something like that.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. Wait, whoa. And then he draws you into these.
He's very.
And I
good.
gotta
So
say,
good.
he won that argument.
He did.
You had no comeback.
Steve was just like, blah, 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 blah.
That's literally how it
Martin
went.
Marincin is good at shit.
And it was like 2 nights after we had spent the night partying that we won the Calder Cup.
Like,
Listen, that was a
literally
friggin' great
screaming
night.
our
Okay.
And then
Great night.
His rant for the rest of that week was how it didn't matter
Calder
at
Cup
all.
means nothing.
And Garrett, I just needed to chant Sparks deserved the crown that night. He was phenomenal. Phenomenal.
It didn't mean anything, though.
It meant something to me. So he could stick it.
Yeah.
It meant something to me.
No?
So
Didn't mean anything
and
to
it meant
anybody.
something to the guys that were there. And Andreas Janssen was like the playoff MVP anyway that year.
Yeah.
He was amazing. That's who wore the crown for this week. Brought to you as always by Crown Royal. Next time the puck drops, why not?
The Calder Cup means nothing.
Live generously and treat your Leafs crew to a Crown Royal Old Fashioned. You do a good Sid. And you've hosted with him before. But what's interesting is when you hosted with him, he didn't do any of that to you.
No, because
Why?
That
he
was a
had
shame.
to-
He should have got him going.
He had to hold my hand because it was American Thanksgiving and it was all football.
Yeah, they put you on the wrong
Yeah,
day.
you had to talk about like the Cowboys.
But there was a trade between the Sens and Oilers during the show, luckily. Who was traded? Great question. Don't remember.
Can't
Anyway.
imagine it was very high talent.
It was-
Sid won because here we are upset.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still.
Still.
I think about that every night.
Sid-
6-0.
Why did he go after Nylander though? That's
Watch
such an
the
odd
clip.
choice.
It's watch it.
Because like Nylander objectively played a great game.
Yeah, they were upset at his post-game comments. They were
Oh, it was
upset that
post-game.
he wasn't upset.
He doesn't
So
get
he
upset.
sat. He's there sitting in
He
the
doesn't get upset.
in his
No.
dressing
Is
room.
Sid just upset he's not also Portuguese?
I,
Is that what it is?
you know what? I'm just going to send him a video. I'm just going to like go. There's a Nando's in Oshawa. I'm just going to like go up to it and like give a thumbs down and send him the video.
Oh, you know what?
Fuck no.
You know what you need to do?
Can you imagine?
You need to do is take a whole thing of chicken fingers and just waste them.
Oh.
Just throw them on the ground.
dump 'em in the
Send him the
garbage.
video.
Yeah. Feed
That's
him
what
to the dogs.
William Nylander thinks of you, and then just throws his chicken.
Hates your stupid
Listen.
chicken fingers.
Sid Sixero is one of the nicest people I've ever met in this industry. And
One of the nicest.
No, him and Tim are just like high class quality individuals who know how to do a kick ass show. And what makes me laugh is the guys on Twitter who take themselves too seriously. Retweeting and commenting every take that those guys have, because you know
Oh,
what's
the
amazing.
Rage Harvest.
Oh, yeah.
It's a rage harvest. That's perfect.
Sid is just like,
He's so good at it.
yeah.
And if you want to know, like everybody's like, yeah, I don't even watch that show. Why are you retweeting them and then responding to it then?
What
Yeah.
don't they watch?
I don't even watch that show. It's the only good sports show in Canada nationally.
Not when Leafs Lunch is on TV.
Well, you're right. That's
And
a good show
also
too.
when Overdrive is simulcast.
Is it?
It is now. It's funny. There's one
Also, have
TV
you
show
heard
that's
of
on.
Jay and Dan?
There's one TV show that's on the radio and one radio
show.
show that's on the TV. It's interesting because like Tim and Sid was a radio show, but it's now the Tim and Sid like
No, it was
TV
a
show.
podcast that was a radio show that was a TV show.
And
that's
it's now a
TV
radio show, and yeah, but it's a TV show on the radio. And what TSN's done is they've taken a radio show and put it on the TV. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
And you're listening to a podcast on the podcast.
On the YouTube, or potentially on the SoundCloud. Now, I want to get into something here.
Uh-huh.
Just answer these questions. One word answers, please.
Do
Steven.
they pertain to Cody Ceci?
They do not. Guys, is it exciting when your favorite? These are yes or no.
Okay.
Is it exciting when your favorite team goes up 3-1 on an opponent that they are in a playoff race with? Is it exciting?
This, Adam, I need some
No.
time.
Yes or no? In a vacuum.
I
If
don't
you're
know.
not a Leafs fan here, you're just you're a sports fan. I hate you guys so much.
You tried to
I hate
make
you.
this.
I hate you so
tried
much.
to make this so
All I want to
easy.
do is do a show. And
Yes,
you guys are like,
question mark?
depends. Were the goals on the power play or?
My answer is it depends.
Okay,
That's 2 words.
It is like adult diapers.
Oh my god, I hate you guys so much.
It depends.
I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Okay.
So I said yes.
Okay.
And Jesse said depends.
So normally, what normal people would say, not Leaf fans, which is
what
understandable.
normal people would say is no.
No, if you were a Boston sports fan and your favorite team goes up 3-1 on somebody, Sox, Bruins, Pats, 3 touchdowns to 1, you're excited, right?
What year is it?
Fuck me, I don't know.
Because if it's like 99 and I'm a Red Sox fan, then I'm still nervous.
Listen, you got Nomar Garcia Parra in the system. You're happy, okay? Things are rolling.
Pre-World Series or post-World Series?
No.
If it's
God.
post-World Series, then I'm like, yeah, but pre-World Series, I'm like, maybe.
Listen, man, guys, do you get it? Do you get it? Do you understand? You get it, right?
There's a lot of variables
You
here.
get how frustrating this can be. Okay, I'm just checking. I know you get me. Okay,
Next question. I think we're hitting these out of the park here, Steve. Let's go. What else we got?
Hey,
This reminds me of the quiz.
you know, part of me has always wondered, will our show follow the same trajectory as Tim and Sid and also become a show one day on the radio or television
No.
if we continue to do well? And the answer is no, because
one
of
word.
segments like this.
One word.
Yes, that's
Good.
right. I answered my own question properly.
All right. What's the next one?
So the next question is, if you're excited when your team goes up 3-1, is it therefore somewhat of a letdown / disappointment when they then go on to lose the game 5-3 and most of the goals come in the third period?
You didn't tell me this was the intermediate class, Adam. Jeez.
Yes or no? Is it disappointing when your team blows a 3-1 lead?
I'm going to go with yes on this.
Wow. Okay. Solid
Yeah.
answer.
I'm going to say yes.
Yes, but with nuance?
Yeah.
Is this like a Scantron test and I didn't fully color in the bubble?
Oh, you better. And
then
it better
there's an
be a
error on the
fucking
machine?
4. What is it? The level
the
4.
2B or whatever.
2B,
it's called.
10. Yeah. Oh my god.
Is this the CCAT? Is this the standardized test that we all hit?
They
Is
just
the
run-
CCAT?
Yeah, if you don't fill in the bubble, you're not going to get the mark.
You got to fill it in all the way or the machine don't go
And if it's
work.
the wrong kind of lead, sorry, you're dumb.
What the hell was
Doesn't
that?
matter what you got right, you're stupid because you didn't use the right pencil.
Did people have the other pencils?
Yes, yes. And like, you know what was hilarious about that? And this, by the way, this is a standardized test in Ontario, but everybody has some version of this. They said if you don't have the 2B lead pencil, it won't count. And literally, there was a kid in my class, and this would never fly today, who was like, I can't afford that. And the teacher's like, find a way.
Oh, God.
Literally. And I was like, that's weird. Anyway, I'm a teenager and I don't know what to do here.
And then they took out the ruler and hit his hand.
Yeah. Anyway.
Oh my God.
That was just one. I had one bad teacher. Most teachers are great. But in all honesty here, 5-3, disappointment. Yes. Right?
Still going to go with yes?
Why?
Question mark.
Why is it that we can't just be disappointed without having to be told how stupid we are for being disappointed that they lost a 3-1 game, and that Freddie Anderson has a neck injury again and will be out again. Now, he had a neck injury a couple years ago, if I remember correctly. But
I think so.
So the
he takes a lot of blows to the head.
It's not just the fact that they lost. It's the fact that their backup, who'd been playing quite well, came in and played well, did not play well, and doesn't seem to play well when he's brought in mid-game, but seems to do better when he starts them. So that's good for tonight. And the second thing is, you have a team that didn't rally around him.
Yeah.
When their goaltender went down. They completely caved. And that was a 4-point game. You win, there's a spread. Yeah. You lose, there is not.
No, but they play that game 99 times, or they play that game 100 times, they win 99 times.
Okay, but they didn't win.
Oh, but Adam, if they play it...
Steve, remember...
If they, in this completely fantastical made-up fairy tale scenario, they win. Wouldn't you prefer the made-up scenario where they made-up win?
Well, if that were the case, then the Miracle on Ice would never have happened. I don't care if we would... What's the Herb Brooks speech?
If we played them 10 times, they might win 9, but not tonight.
And that's what the Panthers did to the Leafs.
Yep. Like, dude, no, okay.
Listen,
you're a great employee. You do a great job. Tomorrow, I want you to go 70% of the way to work and see what your boss says. Just like stop it at Tim's. Just like stop there and chill. Boss, I got 70% of the way here and I flew. I got here so much faster than I usually do. Gives a shit. You want to win the cup or not? Stop talking like a bunch of losers. They got up 3-1 in the third period. They had a 2-1 lead going into it. Then Matthews scored again. This godsend, this one of the best goal scorers in the entire league, scores to give you a 3-1 lead, and you just buckle. You buckle in a span of 5 seconds, and I'm tired of moving the goalposts for this team. Hey, when should we have faith in Hutchison? I told you last LFR now, because he had 4 straight good games. The goalposts for this guy. Cody Ceci, I was praising when they gave him the game ball, because he tries real hard. He has no NHL level talent. Let's say it. That's cruel. It is not a kind thing to say.
That's not true.
What is an impressive thing he does?
Cody Ceci had a good game for the first 2-ish period.
What is something he does that's impressive?
He is able to retrieve the puck well.
I disagree. I disagree because he's got to identify where it is. And he's usually the last player on the ice to do it.
Once he does that, he's able to get rid of it well to his teammates.
He tries hard, for sure.
Yes.
He hustles.
Yes.
Cody Ceci hustles, and he blocks shots. Mm-hmm. He works hard.
These are good things.
These are all good things. Yes. Picking on him. Picking on another guy. Travis Dermott is standing next to a pile of money like the friggin' Joker in Dark Knight and lighting it on fire. That first goal, just abandoning his post.
We thought Travis Dermott was going to make $3.5 million.
You are on drugs.
No way.
You are on drugs.
If he makes more than, at this point, if he makes more than he can't make $500,000 more than Justin Hall.
I said it a few shows ago. Explain why he should make more.
I don't see how he makes. I don't care if he signs a 1-year deal. If it's any more than 2.5, that's too much.
The only way to justify it is if you maybe sign him long term and you're like, he's going to get better. I think he's going to get better.
Yeah.
Travis Dermott every game does things where I'm like, holy shit, not many players can do that. Like just the way he handles the puck, the way
you can criticize a player without saying you hate them.
You cannot.
Like this is what bugs me every time
chokes on a 3-1, and also the balls to say we play that game 100 times, we win 99. This isn't the first time they friggin' screwed the pooch. This is the Toronto Maple Leafs. How dare you tell me that? The fuck?
This happened like 2 weeks ago.
They never blow it?
Yeah.
They blow it every time.
Yeah.
You liars! Like, what are you talking about? I don't even blame the Leafs for saying it. They got to do their own PR. And today you saw him going to bat for Hutch. I get that, man. What are you going to do? Sandbag your own teammate? I get that.
And
if you don't work for them, what brainwashing is going on? They fucked up. Say it. Do they look like a cup contender to you?
Steve,
and if the answer is yes, you're
there's
wrong.
a lot of people on your side. The reason the other side exists is because there's a lot of people on your side, and then a lot of people come back on the other side.
There's a lot of contrarianism out there, and it's not. Listen, it's a fact that the Leafs outplayed the Florida Panthers.
Right.
It's a fact that
in the first 2 periods
they should have won the game. Yep. That's what makes it disappointing.
Yes. This wasn't the 2-1 loss to Calgary. This wasn't them getting goalied.
No.
Although Bobrovsky was very good.
He was very good.
And he robbed them a couple times. Rittich robbed them all night long. Like, it was friggin' ridiculous. This was... They friggin' threw the game away, and it was against the Panthers. It was such a big game. It was a playoff-worthy game. And they ruined it. And now... I look at the schedule again, and I look at how hard they got to work to dig themselves out of this. And of course, the Panthers played the Blue Jackets last night, and of course, it went to overtime. You're gonna if these guys out of a playoff spot if you keep kid gloving them like this. Like what?
What do you mean gonna? They're sitting out.
They're sitting out. Yeah, like you don't even got to do it.
They'll do it themselves.
You don't got to do anything.
It's ridiculous.
In what world is it acceptable that the Columbus Blue Jackets have 67 points and the Leafs only have 63?
They're like the hottest team in the world since like the beginning of December.
Man, I'll come out and say it. I was not a Torts guy. I'm absolutely blown away by what he's done with that team this year.
The Jack Adams is the holy shit, where did you come from award?
And that's he's
going
to win it again.
Yep. He deserves to.
Yep.
He deserves to. And in typical NHL coach fashion, he was like objectively 100,000% wrong on Anthony Duclair, and he's still like easily the best coach in the NHL this year. But you show me a great goalie, I'll show you a great coach, and et cetera, et cetera. You ever hear about these guys before the season? If you're a Blue Jackets fan, shut your mouth. Anyone else? You hear of, yeah?
The goalie named Elvis
guy? You're a big Elvis? And the other one? It's literally Elvis and the other one, because Korpisalo's out. Who the hell's the other one? They have 2 Latvian goalies, and one of them's not even Krzyzewski. It's this team. But it's weird though, because at least we're not complaining about the same thing in February that we were in October.
Yeah.
At least we're not talking about how weak the right side is and how they don't have a backup goalie.
Do you know the 3 teams who have allowed more goals than the Leafs in the Eastern Conference?
First of all, it's fucked that there's only 3 teams. It's got to be the Devils.
1.
Got to be the Sens.
Maybe
2.
Detroit.
And 3.
And got to be Detroit.
So Detroit, New Jersey, Ottawa, then the Toronto Maple Leafs in terms of goals allowed in the Eastern Conference.
See that right there? That tells you all you need to know.
That's
that
a
is
number.
Blatantly unacceptable. And yes, they've had some 8-0 or we were at a 7-4 loss. But that's the point.
Those still
that
go
should
into
not
the numbers.
happen.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: there are people who are like, listen, when Hutch, to focus on Michael Hutchinson for a second, who had a couple good starts leading into this, and I even said the episode before, I'm like, listen, I'm getting my hopes up with this guy. This is great. It's very clear that Michael Hutchinson cannot come in mid-game. If there's one thing that is clear, if he is not starting, he is not playing. That's what needs to be.
Adam, it's one of our oldest bits, but I'm sorry that you had to do your goddamn job.
But it is your job. One thing Babs was right about is that's the gig. And so Babs was right about a lot of things, but one of those things was...
What'd you fill out on your resume? I come into perfect situations, goalie? You're the backup goalie. Sorry, Adam.
I guess what I'm trying to say here is it's perfectly reasonable to be upset when the team you are dogging it out with for the final playoff spot...
Catting it out.
I get it. Beats you at home, and your starting goaltender is now gone for the next week as well. It's okay to be upset about that. And I understand, again, that all the numbers point to, well, the Leafs should have, could have won. But the fact is, an L is an L is an L. And you have to examine, and Steve, you nailed this. If you keep kid gloving this, you're going to kid glove it right out of the playoffs. The team had one of the worst possible starts it could have had, fired the head coach, and has been playing at a 112-point clip, and that might not be enough.
And what are we going to do? We're going to, if they do make
well, they could have.
We're going to do the same thing again? Oh, the Bruins should have called more penalties. They can't do it. They can't do it.
So what do you need to see tonight? Because this is the thing. I understand I understand the other perspective. I get the whole thing about like, well, listen, it's not as bad as you're making it seem. Yeah, but let people be emotional, and also it is disappointing and extremely bad.
Yeah.
So fuck off. But for a second, what do you need to see tonight? Even if they lose, what do you need to see tonight?
Can I put this out there? I don't want to see them lose. This is a must-win game.
Great.
I think it's ridiculous if you go out and you lose this game.
You want to make the playoffs? Beat the fucking Rangers.
Yeah.
So there's that. The game starts at 7:30.
Can you kidnap Georgiev?
You can try.
Okay. Are
Game starts at 7:30, ends around 10.
you sure?
Yes. You try your balls off, both of them, from the beginning of the game till the end of it. From the moment the puck is dropped until there is a winner declared. Is that so much to ask? How many games this season have we been like, almost every Hutch game, except for that 5-minute span. Sam McKee, producer from Sportsnet, had a tweet that a lot of people got mad at for some reason for stating a plain fact that Hutchison has allowed 3 or more goals in 8 different periods this season. That is a no-chancer, guys. No-chancer. There was a game against Washington, and they took too many penalties in that game. I can still remember it. 3 goals in a period. Boom, boom, boom. Kasperi Kapanen temporarily lost his mind and threw his stick in the third game of the season against Montreal.
Wasn't that against? Oh, it was Montreal.
It was Montreal.
Wasn't that against Florida?
3-1.
Oh my God.
And guess what? Austin Matthews, again, saving the team's ass, scores a goal to make it 5-5, I think, in the final minute of that game. Oh, only the Leafs can turn choking on a 4-1 lead into a comeback that they lost in the shootout because the shootout is Price versus Hutch. There's no shot. Give your team a shot. You know what? It's insane. We're actually having the conversation of reacquiring Jonathan Bernier. And you know why? Bernier goes out there, and this season anyway, because he's been brutal for a couple, but this season, he goes out there and he takes the Detroit Holy Godding Red Wings, and he gives them a shot. The only thing Bernier can't do is go out there and score goals for them, unless you're Pecorino.
They can't go and score goals for themselves.
No, they're closing in on negative 100 for goal differential.
Mm-hmm.
They're a joke. And he goes out there every night and he tries to give them a shot.
They're at negative 96, by the way.
Unbelievable.
That is historical.
Unbelievable.
No one's ever come close.
That year.
I don't think anyone's ever come close to that.
96? No, the record's like 200 something.
Oh, is it?
It's like the expansion
Senators or something.
caps.
Oh,
We
yeah,
went
yeah.
through this before.
Yeah, I would love to know what the record is over the last like quarter century.
Yeah, like in the modern-ish era.
Like maybe expansion
I can probably tell you.
thrashers or
Really wanna
something
know.
like that.
Yeah.
You got to give your team a shot. Got to give your team a
Well,
shot.
and you know what? In Hutch's defense, if I can, the last couple games he has.
Yep. Oh, 4 straight games. 4 straight games. He was lights out. So and it's not even all him. So we're getting too.
No, we're talking about a
too
team
Hutch
game
here.
because I don't want to focus too much on Hutch because it's very clear that first off, Leafs Nation split on him. Second, he's a guy that cannot come in mid-game. So
No.
stop doing it. Even
they
when
had to.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like even when they didn't have to, there's times where they didn't have to pull Freddie Anderson and did anyway. Hutch came in and was lit up, and I think that we got to get away from that. I think he's got to be a guy that has the day to plan and prep. And goalies are weird; they're different animals.
Yeah.
Let him have the day to prep and plan and whatever until you get a backup. But let me ask you this: okay, so you need to see tonight. Jesse says that you need to see to win tonight. You need to see what again?
A frigging effort. An attention to detail from start to finish. 'Cause
60
that's what
minutes
this
of
team
it.
lacks. Yes.
Now there
60
are
or
teams.
65 if
Teams
need
have
be.
lapses. The issue I have with the Leafs is when their lapses are bad. Like when their lapses lapse, they're really bad. It's not like the Penguins have lapses. The Capitals have lapses.
Every team.
But why is it that the Leafs get scored on every time they have a lapse? That's my question.
Because they're really bad. They're really, really bad lapses. And we got to stop they're giving up scoring chances and this and that. Like, stop talking about scoring chances like they're all equal. You know what I mean? Like, I look at that Dermott one, and I'm like, I know it's Mark Pesic. He's still in the NHL, and there's still no one on him. If you give him free reign at the frigging net, it's a problem for you. We talked about What Babcock did was so infuriating, where he didn't optimize. The Leafs had a weak asset, which is Michael Hutchison, or it's just the backup position in general. Don't bother putting a name on it. It could be Michael Neuwirth and his wonky grind. It could be It could be anybody. The fact of the matter is they were always going to spend like league minimum on a backup goalie. So you got to optimize that position. No, you don't. What you actually have to do is play him on the second half of a back-to-back every time, no matter what. So Babcock didn't give a shit about all that. All of a sudden, Keefe is like, you know what? It's not on the second half of a back-to-back, but how about you play Detroit on account of their garbage? How about you play the Sens on account of they're not a very good team this year? Oh, how about you play the Islanders, who are a good team but have a really hard time scoring? He actually started optimizing him a bit for his starts. Couldn't, you don't get to control when he comes in as a backup because Freddie got hurt and all that. Maybe we need to start optimizing. Who's the most important person for Leafs playoff success?
Freddie Anderson.
You said it without hesitation, and you're correct. We know the Leafs score a shitload of goals. We know their defense is spotty at best, even when it's fully healthy. When are they going to protect this asset? Anderson is clearly not at 100% and hasn't been for a while. When he's at 100%, he stops all the pucks. All the pucks. He's great. We got a league minimum backup in there, and it sounds like we're going to have that for the foreseeable future, no matter what their name is. When are we going to protect that asset? When are we going to protect our starting goaltender, who is the most important person to this team? And when are we going to protect the backup goalie position with a defense that actually pays attention and gives a shit? I think Cody Ceci gives a shit. I don't think he'd be in the lineup
if he didn't care.
He has to be the nicest human being in the world, right?
And he probably works as hard as he can possibly work. The skill set is limited.
His secret Santa was everyone. That guy got gifts for everybody. Everyone got something from Santa Ceci this year. He seems like the nicest guy, hardest working guy. Cannot defend things, which last I checked was a defenseman's job. So I don't know. They're scoring at they're winning at a 112-point clip. Gives a shit. They blew that game, a game that they could not afford to blow. Do not be so condescending to say they win that 99 times out of 100. They don't. We've seen it happen. A change needs to happen.
So what do you think the change needs to be?
I was super bullish on keeping Kapanen. I'm super bullish on not giving him away for free. But you missed the practice, the noon practice. And he was getting annoyed, right? He was getting annoyed at all the questions about that. So the last show,
why would he get annoyed at that too? That was what that bothered. You want to go in on somebody about their press conference. Kasperi Kapanen's press conference, in my view, was unacceptable.
Adam, you ever slept in till noon ever?
No. Not unless I was completely fucked up the night before.
This is the Toronto media, man. They kept digging.
No, I have.
Do you want my opinion? They kept digging because they didn't believe him. And do you?
Well, and I don't understand if the whole thing was about accountability. He didn't take responsibility. I slept in. It happens. Don't get so defensive, Kasperi. You slept in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, and it's happened before. And he started sounding disappointed in himself, and then he's like, wait a sec, it's not that big of a deal. And some people were rightly pointing out, if we're going to talk about accountability, Ceci cannot play next game.
No, I think that's right.
He's gonna.
No.
How much should we put on Keefe for putting him out there in the third period so much?
Who's it, Kapanen?
Yeah, I don't know, Ceci.
No, Kapanen played a fine game.
Listen, man, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Why was he out there so much if he was clearly struggling? I have a problem with that. Because if Cody Ceci was a $500,000 player who was playing on the third line and playing 9 minutes a night, or not third pairing, we wouldn't even be a discussion.
I genuinely believe that every coach and general manager has blind spots. And I believe, and you'll see this with teams. Apparently, the Leafs are really interested in Sam Bennett. And according to that was from Myrtle and Siegel, they've had scouts. Yeah. They're intrigued, by Sam Bennett. Sam Bennett hasn't really done much, and it's sort of one of those things where you get to the NHL level and these guys go and they go, you know what? I know he couldn't work out at that A-class organization, and the Flames are.
Just every team has.
To you know what? The Flames don't know what the hell they're talking about. Let us take them. We got this. And that's exactly what the Leafs have done with Cody Ceci. Kyle Dubas is on record. He is bullish on Cody Ceci. He doesn't understand what we all don't see. Except everybody sees it.
Yeah.
Ceci's it. I'd pay $200,000 more than I'd need to for that player. If Sam Bennett is attached to Brody and it's a bigger deal,
sure,
I'm interested.
He's center depth. Great.
The Leafs should acquire, and if the name following that at the beginning of that sentence is a forward, I don't know what we're doing here.
Yeah, I don't know why they'd be interested in any forwards.
Mikheyev comes back. They have the strongest forward group in the NHL, in my opinion. Seriously, like they were rolling when right when Mikheyev got hurt. Right when he got hurt. And Janssen hadn't even come back. I don't think we haven't seen a full group yet because Engvall wasn't there yet.
Well, and they're talking about, like in the trade deadline stuff, speculation that's starting to come up is, well, guys, I mean, they only have Austin Matthews, John Tavares, and Jason Spezza. And Engvall's doing... Have you hated Engvall in third line center? Because I certainly haven't. He's been fine.
And does Kerfoot stop existing?
Well, yeah, but he's playing with Tavares, and that's fine. But the point I'm trying to make here is, why are we worried about... why are you even thinking about that?
It's such a secondary down-the-line problem. It's barely a problem.
You're worried about a third-line center when your right half looks like that?
It's not even a problem. It's like...
It's not a problem. That's the point. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. The problem right now is the same problem they had in 15-16, 16-17, 17-18, and 18-19, which is what?
Defense.
And a backup goaltender.
Backup goalie. Unless... It's named Curtis McElhinney.
Yeah, unless it's a season and a half of Curtis McElhinney. So this is the thing. And this is where I think Kyle Dubas needs to really step up. And you know what? I say that with the asterisk of he has stepped up and done a lot of great things. Tyson Barrie, John Tavares, Alexander Kerfoot. What Kyle Dubas has done with this team in the last 18 months is remarkable. And I don't care what anyone says. It's objectively on paper one of the best 18-month runs that any general manager's ever done, and a lot of it is undoing some of the bullshit that the previous group put them in. Zaitsev contract, Marlowe contract, everything else that goes along with that. But there are two things he has not solved yet. And that is the stuff that people are going to hold him to account to, whether he likes it or not.
And I'll defend the Barrie trade. That needed to happen.
Yes, it did.
I love Nazem Kadri with all my little
and Tyson Barrie's been great. I don't care if anybody tells you Tyson Barrie, if you were to say to me right at the Mike Babcock firing, Tyson Barrie hasn't been great, trade looks like a disaster, I'd have been like a little too early, and yes, I agree with you, he's not looked great. But since then, Tyson Barrie's been unbelievable. So if you think, if you're still saying Tyson Barrie's bad, you're objectively wrong. Every metric available, points, goals, assists, Corsi, everything you want to look at, he's been phenomenal. My issue is this: if you can't find a guy with defensive acumen, and I'm not looking for Pietrangelo.
I'm literally looking for better than Ceci.
Better than Ceci, because Justin Hall's been great.
If you could find another Justin Hall, Justin Hall.
Let Justin Hall play the third line.
Yeah, in an ideal world, he probably doesn't play in your top four.
But he's good with Muzzin.
Now that Muzzin's back, I think he looks A-okay. Dude, I don't know. I don't know. I get deja vu every time I sit in this chair. When are we going to stop talking about this issue?
I'd love to see him and Morgan Riley back together. If that doesn't work, I'd love to see a Travis Dermott, Tyson Barrie combo, see what happens there. It'd be one of the most terrifying combos in the NHL, and no defense. But it would just be fun.
They do play together, but you can't have them. You can't have them close a game.
No, you need someone who can actually do that. And that's why people are talking, what about PK? PK is not, guys, no. PK is
and
more...
He's out
not now.
PK Subban?
He's out now.
But that's with illness.
Oh,
that's not an injury.
No, I think PK's not the guy you need.
Yeah.
Although he's probably the easiest to be had at this point. I think you could get PK for almost nothing and full half salary retained. I'm not kidding.
Which is like a quarter of his salary.
Yeah.
Right.
But this isn't the time for PK.
No.
One thing I've been thinking about that I think should hang on Dubas is that I look at a team like Pittsburgh and the way they've built their system with Wilkes-Barre and just the kind of hockey they play, and they're able to just plug and play any no-name creative player, no matter who's on defense or offense, just play around those guys and work the coach's system. And then Toronto's just not set up like that, so you have to build
They're
a
trying
team.
to.
They're trying to, but the way it is
forwards
now, they have to build a team that can play this style of hockey that's so fast and is just trying to outscore you. What are you going to say, Steve?
Well, Jesse, I want you to look something up.
They're to say. I just want to say. I want to step in and say. I think that their forwards, they've done a great job with their forwards.
Yes.
Their plug and play with forwards is great. Defense, I'm with you.
And it's been a struggle at defense. Same with that goalie.
Sandy's been great, though.
You can't plug and play the goalies, but at least you can play a defensive system that helps your goaltending, where you can raise the save percentage from a defensive end. And they haven't done that either. But I feel Pittsburgh's been great at that.
Can you look up the Marlies record?
Sure.
From November 20th onward.
Ooh, that's going to be a little difficult.
It is going to be a little difficult, Jesse.
I'll give it to you.
Here, I'll make it easier for you. I'll make it way easier for you. Count the wins. So Jesse brings up a great point. Maybe a little unfair on account of Pittsburgh's probably the best at it. Mm-hmm. You know, you're comparing them to the best.
When is it? November 2nd?
20th.
November 20th, all right.
The Toronto Marlies suck.
Do they?
Suck. Jesse, count the wins. Count the wins from November 20th.
Give me a second.
Yeah. I don't think it'll take him very long. The only way it would take long is if he counted the number of games as well. I'm starting to think Sheldon Keefe might be pretty good at this, guys. Because that team stinks. They are really struggling. They've had a lot of difficulty with not that different of a roster, man. All the key components are there. It's that or Pierre Engvall is that dope, which maybe.
Well, I also wonder too, like Bracco has had a bit of a down season compared to last. Yeah, I mean, he was still an all-star, but I don't think he's scoring as much. He's got a ton of. Now he's leaving because of personal reasons.
He's for personal reasons, and Marley's head coach Greg Moore said he's out like indefinitely or something like that. There's no timetable for his return, so whatever that means, I hope he's okay.
Yeah, I just hope he's okay.
Yeah, I have no idea what that means, but in terms of
and in a business sense, the trade chip's off the board.
At the moment, unless that's why he's being held out. I don't know.
Or maybe he's just. I mean, I got to tell you, it's tough to work for an organization when you feel you're way out the door. Like you feel like you're already checked out in your head. So maybe he just felt like, you know what, I just can't do this. I can't fake this anymore.
I agree. That's a complicated topic, but yeah.
Complicated topic. But sorry, I don't want to say that that's what it is. Because
but there's reason to believe that
or maybe it's not, or maybe it has nothing to do with that. If that were the case, excuse me, let me rephrase that. If that were the case, I would completely understand that. I get that. I've lived that. It sucks, and I get it. And people would say they're shit or whatever, but I think he'd be completely justified in being like, okay, you guys have never given me a shot in like 4 years, like 4 or 5 years. Come on, and so I could get that. If it's something completely different, that's fine too. Whatever, just get better. But from a business standpoint, the Leafs, you would think, were hoping to use him as a trade piece, and that could impair some things going into the deadline.
That simply isn't happening, Jesse.
But you wanna start from November 30th because on November 20th they went on a 3-game winning streak.
Okay,
but if you minus that winning streak, then they are 11-17-2.
11-17-2
since November 30th.
How'd they do in December?
December, I'll just count up the wins. That is...
Because I know they're on a real downturn right now. They have something like 2 wins in their last 15 or something like that. They've been getting run over. And this is with an all-star AHL goalie in Casimir Kaskisuo, who, by the way, his numbers have taken a tumble too.
They had 5 wins in December.
5 wins in December.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
That's not good.
No.
One of the things that Elliot Friedman mentioned in 31 Thoughts today, Kyle Dubas has made it clear he won't trade for a goalie unless the upgrade is significant and it isn't cost prohibitive. 2 big asks.
That's... Kyle Dubas would like a $25,000 Bugatti.
Can you read that one more time?
So one person that Elliot Friedman said that they might consider is Jack Campbell in LA. Because Jack Campbell was, I guess, a Kyle Dubas guy. He traded for him once back in the Sioux days.
Oh.
So maybe.
Jack Campbell, man, he was so highly touted. He was one of the goalies the States used at the 2010 World Juniors. That's when dastardly John Carlson scored on Canada in overtime to win it all. And I remember a scout.
He turned out good.
He is dastardly.
I remember a scout, though, because Jack Campbell made a crazy save, and he just turned around and he goes, that kid has ice in his veins. And it hasn't quite worked out for him. But he's come on the past couple of years or so.
Sure has. Look at these numbers.
To become a really good backup.
So the horrendous Kings last year, he played 31 games. He went 10-14, but his .928 save percentage should interest you.
Holy shit.
Now it's only a .900 this year. But
what's Quicks?
Exactly. I have no idea what's Quick. I don't have Quicks right here, but
doesn't start with a 9.
No, it doesn't. Probably it definitely doesn't. Jonathan Quick has not had a 9 save percentage since 17-18.
Blood clot.
He had an 888 and an 895 this year. So
not good.
It's not. So Jack Campbell would be great, but it's a question of then, and the Leafs and Kings have made trade partners before. You wonder if they could make a package deal, maybe Alec Martinez and Jack Campbell for X, and I don't know what X is on the Leafs.
Last night on Ice Surfing, Jeff Merrick asked me, so he's just like, here, let's get a tight shot of Steve. I just want his facial reaction. That's all I want. The trade is Jack Campbell and Alec Martinez for Kasperi Kapanen. And I went, my eyebrows went up.
But Alec Martinez is old, man.
Yeah.
But you have him for this year and next, and that's it.
How much?
And Jack Campbell.
How much does he make?
3 something.
I think he makes just under what Kapanen makes.
Can Cody Ceci go back in that?
He'd have to
free up the space.
Probably have to.
He wouldn't have to. The Kings might have to retain a little bit.
No,
but I just want him.
But if you're
to
the
go.
Kings, you just take it, right? Like it's like who cares?
I hope they do. Yeah. What if they just take Ceci?
I mean, that'd be dope. I don't know if they could do it.
He makes $4 million.
At this point,
I think you would have to figure something out with Cody
Right.
Ceci.
his prorated salary for the rest of the year is just under $2 million.
Here's how bad the Cody Ceci situation is. Rationally, you shouldn't care because his deal is up at the end of the season. Who cares? But he is such an anathema to Toronto fans that it's like, no, please trade him now and we'll give up an asset to get rid of him because we just don't want him to see him in a jersey anymore. That's how bad it is. And listen, you can call me a bad person for saying that, but tell me I'm wrong.
Yeah, because there's still 3 months left under that contract, and we're trying to win a playoff round here. We're trying to get into the playoffs first.
Yeah, like I'll say trading him just to trade him at this point is a little irrational. Because if someone gets hurt, you need a body. And you're going to ask Liljegren to be that guy? Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe, but maybe you should have evaluated that a little sooner. You know what I mean? That guy's played 1 game, and they got killed.
I'd like to see him up again. I don't know why they haven't brought him up.
I would too, but they clearly feel that's not the right decision. So to me, if you can, man, there's a trade I don't completely hate. Like there's the base of what could be a deal. Are there picks involved? Are there whatever?
Oh,
involved?
you mean? Well, Liljegren.
No,
not trading
Liljegren.
him. No.
I'm talking
that guy's
about the Kapanen for Martinez and Campbell deal. Potentially. You trade, listen,
I hate
Kapanen is, you hate it?
I hate it a little.
You hate it a little.
Why is that?
You hate it a little.
Why is that?
Because I don't think Alec Martinez and Jack Campbell are worth Kasperi Kapanen in the future that guy has.
It's not perfect, but you address both your weaknesses with, listen, I like Kapanen, cost controlled, 23, one of the fastest players in the league. He'd certainly be attractive to the Kings. He provides everything they lack, basically. Is it worth it to address both weaknesses with this one player?
Not like that. I think you got to get fair value.
What's fair
In fact,
value? How far
I don't know.
is that from being okay?
Right.
It's not that far.
See?
But I think maybe you get...
See?
Maybe you get Carl Grundstrom back. I don't know. Like there's got to be.
I would kill for Carl Grundstrom back, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Then
I love
the
by
Kings
the way,
are losing that trade.
Sean Drury has not done well, by the way, in the AHL. No,
that's a shame.
He might listen. It's his
I
first
wish they
year.
got him back.
It's his first year.
Well.
It's his first year. Mm-hmm. He might do better next year. Mm-hmm. Liljegren wasn't great in his first year in the A either. He was okay. He was good, but like not great.
We're all at this point. We're all agreed on selling the future to win now.
Not all of the future, and I still.
but at least some of
Kapanen's
it.
the present.
Yeah, Kapanen.
You know what I mean?
He's also the future.
He's in his second
Yeah,
deal
he's
though.
both.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I wouldn't give up. At this point, their future consists of 3 players mostly, and that is Liljegren, Sandin. Makes 0 sense to trade either of them, unless you're getting God back, and up front Nick Robertson. There's
And
no one else.
It's interesting you
I'm
frame
sorry.
it like that.
He just named a trio of defensemen. Are we just gonna let that fly by?
You know what's going to be great? When Nick Robertson plays 1,500 games, and that follows me my entire life.
I can't wait. Anyway, sorry, Jesse, to
It's gonna
interrupt.
be
Please
so good.
continue.
It's interesting that you frame the future and you don't include the bunch of 20-year-olds who are on your top line.
Of course.
But like
Yeah, but
they
that's-
are the now.
But
they
they're
are the
also
now.
the future.
They're
I don't think we should.
They're paid like the now and near future,
Any
right?
trade
Yeah.
that includes the top 4 is wrong. What about Matthew Tavares?
Nope.
Nylander,
Nope.
Marner? No.
None
What?
of those guys.
What about any of the guys who make the team special? No.
Yeah, no.
No. That doesn't make any sense. So, at some point, you got to give some to get some.
And Kapanen's that something.
He might be that something. If Mikheyev comes back
Man, what about
and he's okay.
Yeah, I'm sure Buffalo would give you Colin Miller for a bag of pucks at this point. Like, come on, try that.
He's got 2 years left.
Yeah, I don't want to call him.
He's got 2 years left, and he can barely
What's he
crack
make?
a garbage roster.
Yeah.
What's he make?
3 points. I want to say 7.
I think
Spezza could barely crack the Leafs roster. And look at how great he's been under a
It's a
different
little
coach.
different.
Man,
This
the
is now-
Sabres suck. There's
The
something.
Sabres suck.
We had Dwayne
And
on the
Vegas-
last episode. There's
Gerard Gallant didn't like
poison.
him either. Gerard Gallant didn't like him either. What's going on with Colin Miller, man?
I don't want to call him Miller.
That's not the answer. That's not the Sabres got to retain at least half. And
Fine.
they wouldn't do that. There's 2.5 years left. They wouldn't do that. I'd rather have a guy who scored a Stanley Cup winning goal and is still, decently good at hockey.
You know what? Alec Martinez. Get the jerseys
He's
made.
32,
There's something
guys.
there.
Get the jerseys
Some
made.
Guys, he's 32.
And at the end of all this, he'll be gone.
Yeah, so are you soon.
True,
Whoa.
but I'm not a Leaf. And
thought you
Steve,
could be. He'll
Steve will
gone?
be.
Oh,
You'll be
he'll
a
be 32.
32-year-old before I will be. Actually.
Yeah, look at me. Prime of my life.
Right?
Started
Steve's
seeing a
trying to get
trainer.
abs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was talking to Jesse about that. I don't think it's going to happen. But I will get better.
Joe Rogan get abs. Anybody can get abs.
That freaking guy, all he got to do is smoke a whole
You know,
bunch of
his
weed
his
and-
podcast made $30 million last year.
That is a lot of $1 million.
Yeah.
Man, that is
So-
how many years of Jeff Skinner is that? Sorry, I'm just being mean to the Sabres. I like Jeff Skinner.
I like Jeff Skinner too. I don't know. Like there's there's
I'm
got to
being
be
mean to the Sabres because I hurt.
if the Leafs go through the trade deadline, and all they do is get healthy.
No, not enough.
I don't hate it.
See, I don't hate
Morgan
that either.
Riley's back. That's something.
Morgan Riley back.
Freddie
now what does it
Anderson's
look like?
healthy.
Now,
Well,
what does it look like?
Riley, Barry, Muzzin, Hall, Dermott, Cece.
That's
You cannot take. No, you can't have them in your top 6.
You can't, but they will.
Sandine Dermott, which is
I would
far
okay.
from perfect.
Steve, I would love that, but that's fantasy land though. You know, Cece's going to play unless Cece gets injured. The one guy
Then
who's
winning the
been
Stanley Cup is fantasy too.
perfectly healthy. He's been perfectly healthy this year. He's been
the
just
most healthy specimen the Leafs have ever had is Cody Ceci.
guys in the prime of his life. No, man. I think.
him and Tom Brady.
I'll tell you this.
You
I'll
know?
say this.
It's Cody Ceci and Tom Brady, the pinnacles of health.
and pinnacles of performance.
Right?
But let me just say this. If the Leafs go through the trade deadline and do nothing, I will be disappointed, but I would be more disappointed if they did something stupid.
I don't
So
think
Right.
that move's stupid.
well, I didn't say it was stupid. I wasn't taking shots at your move.
You took fucking shots.
I don't.
at my fucking
Again,
move.
this is like criticizing a player and it's like you hate that player? No, I'm criticizing what they did.
Are you calling?
It's like
Are you calling?
every
Kyle
time
Dubas
somebody
garbage?
every time somebody tweeted me, I go, "Why do you hate me?" People be like, "What's wrong with you?"
What?
Like
Yeah.
I'm just criticizing something you said. It doesn't mean I hate you. This is exactly what we're talking about. So here's the thing. If the Leafs go through the trade deadline, Steve, you are saying that if they don't do an upgrade at least one of those positions, you'll be disappointed.
Yes. Yes. You need a better defense if you want to make the playoffs, let alone have any success in them. Dude, the Vancouver Canucks, when they made the Stanley Cup final in 2011, used 13 defensemen. Let's do that exercise with the Leafs. Okay, so they got their 7 guys when they're healthy, which is all their guys. Now there's Liljegren. He gets hurt. All right, so there's 8. Who's 9?
Marincin,
there's 9. Who's next? Kiwi Halmy? Okay, he hasn't played yet, but fine. Who's 11?
Okay. Well, we got Ben Harper. We got Jordan Schmaltz.
Oh my God!
Kevin Gravel, if he's ready to go.
Hopefully. There's an answer.
Mac Hollowell.
You have 11 guys who could play on an NHL.
Who have
Jesse,
played
how
here.
dare you? Ben Harper can barely play on the Marlies.
Those are extreme circumstances, and in that case, your top 4 would be playing 25 minutes. It's the playoffs.
That is true.
Ben Harper.
Have a reasonable reaction.
Ben Harper was
bullshit.
Guys, Ben Harper was so not good that even Babcock wouldn't play him.
Man, and he was 6'8" every time he hit the ice.
We're not saying we're going to play good players in this scenario. We're saying last resort.
He's 6'8" every time he hits the penalty box and the bench as well. Dude, I think they need someone who moves human beings away from the crease. Jake Muzzin does that. End of list. Morgan Riley sometimes, but he's not there, is he?
No.
Justin Hall is
he'll
not
be
that
evaluated
person.
in another month.
Cody Cece's not strong enough on his skates to be that person.
No.
Dermott can be that person because he doesn't give a shit, but his decision making is still young. It's still way too young. Do I think Alec Martinez is the perfect solution? No. Jack Campbell. There's something there, man. There's something there.
So you're saying, because Adam said if they go through the trade deadline, am I right, Adam? You'd be happy, or you'd be okay with it.
All I need for them is to get healthy.
Right.
And stop playing Cody Cece.
Okay, well, that'll take a month, and it'll take a month maybe.
And Steve's on the side of you need to get at least one defenseman.
Yes, for crying out loud. I would prioritize defenseman ahead of goalie.
Just to be clear, Kapanen straight up for Jack Campbell and Alec Martinez, and you're okay with it.
I don't know about straight up.
LA has to give something else. They have to. Kasperi Kapanen is young, and he's that good.
Wait, so it needs to be 3
and
guys.
he would be a
Or a
first
pick
liner
or something.
there because he's so fast.
Yeah.
He has to play with Kopitar.
So you want like a second as well, or a third?
I don't know. I don't know how seconds and thirds are even valued anymore because it wouldn't be a first because LA's first is going to be phenomenal.
Trying to figure out how could we.
But yeah, man, listen.
We're cooking.
If you could get a second rounder at LA, you're picking in the 30s.
Yeah. Is CC involved? Yeah. Is a pick involved? Is Toffoli involved? There's something there. Right now, you're standing on opposite sides of the dance floor, but you've made eye contact. That's what we have here. Me?
What are your thoughts on Sean Walker?
I'm into him, dude. But everyone keeps bringing him up. I don't know why. I don't know what incentive LA has.
Well, he's coming up on the end of his deal. He's going to be an RFA.
But he's cheap.
Oh, he's cheap right now.
I like Sean Walker. I like Dylan DeMello.
And he's 25. That's the thing, is that if LA, if the Leafs are looking for depth, Sean Walker is what depth looks like.
Of course.
And if you're giving up Kasperi Kapanen, then you better get some damn depth.
Yeah. Listen, if that is a possibility, I'll absolutely take him. I just don't see the benefit for LA unless he's made it very clear, listen, I'm gone. But you still got to get value. It doesn't matter if he's gone. I'd love him. I would love him. But that'd be very interesting. And then, so wasn't he Muzzin's partner? So you could potentially have Muzzin Hall, Riley Walker, or Riley Hall, Muzzin Walker, don't care. I'm telling you, we've made eye contact.
Here's something that I
wouldn't... You want a punch?
Here's something I wouldn't necessarily... Here's what I want to know, Jesse. Do you have...
I hate spitball and trade talk, but
I don't. I actually love it. It's fun. Jesse.
Yes.
let me ask you something.
I just want you to know that the Central Registry approved the trade of Alex Martinez, Jack Campbell, and a third-round pick for Kasperi Kapanen.
Does that mean anything?
On Cap Friendly.
This is Cap Friendly's. So they have a new. What's it called exactly? I can't remember.
Trade machine.
Trade machine. So they have it so that you can make a trade proposal and they tell you, yes, that works, or no, stupid, that doesn't work.
Pull the
Here's
third
why.
and put Sean Walker in.
All right, hold on.
Also, I want to know something.
Yes, you were asking a question. Yes.
A playoff-bound team that can't score. Find me a playoff-bound team that can't score. I'm serious.
Okay.
And there's a reason I'm asking. So if there is a playoff-bound team that has not scored a lot of goals this year, I would like to know.
Islanders, potentially.
Central Registry does approve
Stars.
the trade with Sean Walker
Okay.
included there as well.
So you look at the teams that can't score goals. Stars being one of them.
Playoff bound team.
Islanders.
Yeah, Islanders. Columbus is having a hard time scoring goals, only 144. They're only 2 up on the Islanders. The rest of them can score pretty good. So you narrow it down there.
I can list you the rankings of the playoff teams who can't score. It's Dallas, Columbus, Philly, Vegas.
Philly can't
Is the
score.
bottom score. Yeah. They're
and the Islanders. The Islanders too.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the Islanders.
So then what you do is you say, here's a guy that can score.
And Calgary.
Here's a guy that
We'll talk about Calgary.
here's the guy that scores. How about you give us a guy who can defend?
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Like, I'm not a big trade
'Cause-
from a
or-
position of strength guy, but
Or you give us an expiring contract of a guy who can defend. We will give you Tyson Barrie.
I would love to avoid that. But
Like, I like Tyson Barrie a lot.
they better be real good.
Well,
better be
what if there's a real
real
good defenseman that's available on it? Like, look at the team
How
defenses.
many real good defensemen are available? Not a ton. You know
Tyson
what I
Barrie's
mean?
real good.
Or, the more realistic scenario, LA Kings over there looking fine. I'm over here looking good. I got the fresh...
I think you got the beer goggles on for the Kings, man. I think they look better in the club lights than they do in real life, to be honest with you.
All we have is tonight.
I don't want to look at Kasperi Kapanen 3 years down the road and go, "Fuck, we only got Alex Martinez and 28. We got 32-year-old Alec Martinez and 28-year-old Jack Campbell for him? No thanks. No way. No. I still think there's something to be worked out with the Rangers, too.
When you would be Alec Martinez.
I think, listen, you can sing to me all you want, and you're right.
Waiting for Jack Campbell.
And that's a great song.
You should have gone with Pitbull. Picture that like a Kodak.
Oh, stop it. Oh!
Tonight! Who's the other guy on that song? Is it Neo?
Is it
Yeah.
Usher? No, Neo, yeah.
Neo.
No, Usher did
That's
the
like
other
his
one.
worst
Pitbull.
performance ever.
Yeah.
It's like, man, did anyone like proof listen?
Why is that song so popular?
It's
'Cause it's
it
Pitbull.
bangs if it's 2 a.m.
Does
and
it?
It's 2000, what was that, like 7?
Man, 11.
11,
2011. I hated that song for the first time I played it, and I played it to death, and I never understood why people like that song.
Beer goggle music.
You need vodka. And,
I was drinking a lot of vodka back then.
And a dance floor.
You listen to that song at 10 a.m., you got problems.
Yeah.
Well, I
You're
was at
doing
that point.
radio.
I was doing radio.
If it's 10 p.m. and I'm driving
Nah.
and you're telling me, hey, whatever you're doing,
Right.
you're with your friends, you pull a U-turn right now, and you go to, what is it, Cocktail House in Pickering? They always tell you to go to? On Brock Road? Or whatever?
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, everyone's going clubbing in Pickering for sure.
And
You
you're
heard that
sitting
radio
there
ad?
and you're saying, me not working hard, yeah, right. Picture that with a Kodak. Or better yet, go to Times Square and take a picture of me with a Kodak.
He rhymed it with, and you know why he said Kodak twice in that song?
Why?
Because Kodak paid him $1 million to do it.
yeah.
And then they went bankrupt. But I'm not kidding, Kodak paid for that.
That's my best lyric, my favorite lyric since they call me Go So Hard because I go so hard.
She's got a big booty, so I call her Big Booty.
God.
Anyways.
Let's, why do we do this? You ever wonder that? Like, why do we just sit here when all we got to do is just become internet rappers, take a flight to Jamaica, and lie that we have the coronavirus?
That's something that happened, by the way, if you don't know this story.
Yeah.
A Toronto guy who's 29, by
Who
the way.
looks exactly like Frank Corrado.
Don't insult Frank Corrado like
He
that.
looks exactly...
Don't-
Pull up his picture.
No,
Don't insult
No, Frank Corrado has a soul.
Yeah.
I agree. I didn't say he was Frank
Corrado's a
Corrado.
good
I just said
human.
he looks like...
If this guy, like Bart in The Simpsons, if the guy blew on glass, like on cold glass, nothing would happen. Remember when Bart
'cause he
sells the
doesn't have a
soul?
soul.
This guy, this is what this guy does, okay? He gets up. This guy gets up on an airplane. These guys,
Wild, coming in
these people,
hot.
okay. How many vacations?
feed.
How many vacations to the south do you guys get a year?
I've been on one in the last
Entire
10
life.
In the last 10 years.
Last 10 years. And where did you go?
I went to Mexico
Okay.
this past summer.
Usually one every 2 years, and it's like to visit family.
In Aberdeen, Scotland.
Yeah.
Where it's colder.
This past year, we went to Florida for 5 days.
Yeah, and normally you go from Toronto where it's 25 degrees, and you go to Aberdeen where it's 14.
Oh, 25, 30. And I pack all my sweaters. Can't wait to spend 2 weeks here. No, I do
No,
love
I know
it,
you have a
but
good time.
there are days where I'm like, I'm pretty fucking cold right now.
Yeah, you could just
I
go to
packed
Spain
one pair
from
of
there.
jeans.
But anyway,
That sucks.
the long story short here is that people work their asses off. This city's extremely expensive to live in. So you save and save and save, and you buy your $1,000, $1,500, $2,000 trip to Jamaica to stay at your all-inclusive so you can have a fucking break. And
Not
this
just a
guy,
break.
this is a fucking break.
Yeah, we're still talking about coronavirus.
So
plane guy.
coronavirus guy gets on the plane.
I thought this was Frank Corrado.
And he stands up and he looks around and he's got his phone going and he's like, just attention everyone, I just came from Wuhan province. Sat back down. So what is the flight crew to do mid-flight? Well, they can't land in Jamaica now knowing that information. They can't.
Well,
They
and
actually,
Lord knows where this plane is.
the plane is halfway to Jamaica.
Like above water?
Yes. So they go, okay, I guess we're turning it around now. And that's what they did. They turned it around. They landed back in Toronto. They tested the guy once he got off the plane. These people lose an entire day of their vacation that they worked really hard for.
Oh, I didn't even think of them. Oh my
And they have to, and then they have to fly back. And this guy gets arrested, and he's gonna, get a couple mischief charges. And he starts the interview.
Every person on that plane should sue him.
He starts the interview with Global News yesterday, saying, "Yeah, I fly to Jamaica 5 times a year."
Well, you know what?
And he lives with his parents.
Oh.
And he's done this before. He did it. He stood up on a plane once and he's like, I think everyone on this plane should listen to the new Lil Wayne album. And then he sat back down. And he's like, I did that before and I thought this was another way just to go viral. I didn't think people on the plane would be affected. I thought just people on the internet would like it.
He did it for Instagram clout. Literally.
And it's not even one of those like adorable things. Who made this burger? You ever seen any of those?
That's funny.
funny.
This burger's amazing. I want you to make my burger every time. I love those
If
ones.
Yeah.
you're gonna disrupt the public space, you better be fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes.
You gotta hit it 10 out of 10, or else you're just annoying.
Yes.
And you're an asshole.
Yeah. Or you're that trainer that just walks into that and it catches his. Have you seen that guy? The guy just.
Oh,
What?
He walks into it like
this
a.
dude who literally looks like Goro from Mortal Kombat. He just walks in, is like,
And he
client's getting
pumps
a
his
donut.
arms like this.
It's clearly fake.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
like, his client's getting a donut, and you just go slap. Slaps it right out of his hand.
That's funny.
It's so good.
But that's the kind of thing where you're like, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
This guy's just a numbskull. Like,
Yeah.
just stupid.
He's trying to be a rapper.
Yeah.
You just reminded me of the trainer guy.
Yeah, anyway.
He looks like Goro.
So anyway, you better be endearing or hilarious if you're interrupting the public.
No.
I don't know how we got on this, but what a stupid story. What a stupid move.
Stupid person. Weak parents, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, question for you. I got a couple DMs about this.
Worse
Is-
or better than Chair Girl?
Oh no, this is hockey, so it's better.
No. The
worse?
plane guy.
No, chair girls put people's lives in danger.
Okay.
So chair girl's worse.
Okay.
I mean, this guy pulled 200 people off a flight pattern, which
Yeah.
is also a bad idea.
When do we find out they're dating?
Six Buzz will announce it at some point. Six Buzz, the Instagram account.
Within 2 weeks. Book it.
Yeah, you're right. This guy
Within
even said
2 weeks.
he's an artist. He's got a page, but we're not going to say his name.
No.
Not honestly, I can't even remember his name.
Fuckhead McScrotum is his Instagram. So everyone visit Fuckhead McScrotum.
Don't do that.
No, don't do that.
Especially not on your work Wi-Fi.
Interesting. So anyway,
It's a weird name.
Dustin Byfuglien, guys. Looks like this thing's coming to an end. And I wonder if with this mutual termination thing that's coming with Winnipeg and with him, and I'm sure there'll be some sort of payout or something that Winnipeg makes. My question is, if that happens, and Winnipeg is now able to make trades and that sort of thing, which would be good for them. I wonder if Dustin Byfuglien is not a guy, if he wants to play this year, that the Leafs go, what do we got to do? Then you trade Cody Ceci's contract.
I just don't see...
I don't see him fitting well into the Leaf system, to be honest.
I don't see him being good at hockey at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the
maybe.
dude hasn't skated and his ankle's broke, and Lord knows what he's walking around at. You know, like that guy in the off-season's like 300 pounds, and it's the off-season. It's cool. He's kind of old school in that regard, but like he hasn't skated. So, listen, Dustin Byfuglien healthy? Just plunked into the Leafs lineup?
Oh.
Hilarious! Yeah. Cup contention immediately. But
I also don't see him getting good by June. You know, like even if there's a deep playoff run, I don't see him getting up to the speed that we expect Dustin Byfuglien to be at.
William Nylander, like literally, all he did was take time off.
And he's 21.
Fine. Yeah,
you know,
and he was fine.
Yeah,
fine, and sucked. And he came back and he was awesome. Mm-hmm. Should be.
And this is a guy who's ancient by hockey terms.
By professional athlete terms.
Professional, yeah.
Yeah.
And he's in a unique circumstance. He's playing in a sport full of, you know, like 190-pound guys now. Mm-hmm. And he's like, he plays at like 270. Mm-hmm. On an ankle that
he could
was misdiagnosed.
Blow you up.
He could blow you up. If he can move.
Well, I would love to know. I would love to know if he could. But here's what I'd really like to know. And this is what's really important, guys. So, if his ankle is good, what's Dustin Byfuglien worth? Because at this point, he's magic beans.
I think his contract's magic beans. I'm always amazed. Like, you know what this reminds me of a little bit? It's not a great comparison, but remember Vincent Lecavalier got bought out? Mm-hmm. I want to say it was by the Lightning. And then because he was making like 7 or something.
And then he went to Philly?
Philly for like 4.
And I
was like, how'd you land on 4? He just got bought out.
And then they bought him out, and then he went to Chicago.
I think he was the first player to ever be played by 3 teams. To ever be paid by 3 teams at the same time. Good for him.
You know what Dustin Byfuglien isn't worth? More than a half-season deal is what I would say.
I would just sign him to the playoffs.
If somebody's willing to give him a multi-year deal, he's going to take that, and nobody should do that.
I hope for his own sake he doesn't come back until
he's ready.
September.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. There are 2 players in Montreal. First off, shout out to the first one because he did the coldest thing I've ever seen in the NHL ever.
Yeah.
There are 2 players in Montreal that I'm shocked are not higher on trade bait boards right now. Sure. Ilya Kovalchuk last night. They were booing him all night in Jersey, and he finishes them off in the shootout and tells them all to shh.
And the Devils blew a 3-0 lead.
Magic.
That team, man.
Man, that was magic.
Keith Kincaid is shocking.
But he got them into the playoffs a couple years ago.
That magic's gone. That Fidelius charm has worn off. That dude, 2 of those goals are ECHL emergency goalie goals. They were horrible.
It's a little rude.
Have you seen the highlights?
No.
Well, I did on ice surfing. #. And they were brutal. One of them wasn't even a shot. It was an accident. Go look at the tying goal from last night. It was literally an accident. But he missed it because he was like a Roomba, just sort of lazily across the ice. Oh, it was bad. Poor guy. I feel bad for him. But anyway, Kovalchuk.
Is Ilya Kovalchuk... It's not a question of whether Ilya Kovalchuk is going to get traded. It's a question is Ilya Kovalchuk now worth a 2nd-round pick?
I would say yes. But here, let me follow that up with a follow-up question. Did Ilya Kovalchuk try for a single game as a member of the LA Kings?
Well, I initially thought, how could that be right, Steve? But I'm looking at his stats. He played 17 games in LA this year. Now, given his ice time's a bit different and LA sucks. But Montreal hasn't been great. And in 17 games, he had 9 points. In 13 with Montreal, he has 10.
Dude, I know the Kings are a bad team and struggle to score, and there was probably a lot expected of him. But everything about his tenure there and the way he played and his tenure with Montreal And the fact that he didn't play for like a month before stepping into a Habs uniform and being good immediately suggests that he signed his deal with LA and literally went, ha, gotcha, and turned it off.
You think so?
You watch him now and you watch him then and you tell me what you think. I don't think he tried as a member of the LA Kings. He's great now. He's a good player. Ilya Kovalchuk's a good player. It's not a controversial take. He should be worth something to the highest bidder. And Ilya Kovalchuk wants a cup bad. Like, remember him 2012, 8 years ago, but with the Devils? That guy, he had like a broken rib or something like that, and he was their MVP. Mm-hmm. He was so good. I don't think he tried as a member of the LA Kings.
Can I give you some information before we move on too quickly? Keith Kincaid didn't play last night. It was Louis Domingue.
No. Keith Kincaid is the Habs goalie.
Oh, the Habs goalie.
Yes.
Oh.
He used to be a... Yeah.
I thought you meant I was like, Louis Domingue doesn't...
I got
Keith
hot
Kincaid
in the face for a second there. I was
play for the Devils.
Louis Domingue shocking, too.
Okay.
No,
The tying goal... It wasn't... Also,
Charlie Lindgren's
Keith
in that.
Kincaid didn't play for the Habs last night either.
Are you sure? Oh,
It
it
was
was Charlie Lindgren.
Yeah.
The whole game, or did Kincaid get pulled?
I don't know.
Now I feel
all I know
stupid.
is I can't find any Keith Kincaid stuff.
I'm a dumbass. Oh my god, that's funny.
Anyways.
Well, anyway, their goaltending situation beyond Carey Price is pretty.
So you're saying the doesn't matter really.
whoever was in net
Whoever
sucked.
for both teams, Keith Kincaid
switch out the names.
Yeah. Charlie Lindgren is shocking. Is that Charlie? Yep, he's right-handed. Damn it.
Charlie Lindgren. Right?
Oops. And it wasn't even a 3-0 lead. See, there were a lot of games
It was
last
3-0.
night. Oh, that's 3-0 right there.
Yeah.
What the
Sorry
fuck
to
am I
interrupt.
talking about?
It's just before Twitter.
If Ilya Kovalchuk is then worth a second-round pick,
No, you're right. It was Louis Domingue. Fuck! Anyway,
if Ilya Kovalchuk might be able to get you a
I got it
second-round pick,
reversed.
Go ahead.
I'm embarrassed. Adam, you can't just talk about Kovalchuk when I fucked up that hard.
he saw the games too. It's my favorite part.
On ice surfing.
Yeah,
What does this say about ice surfing?
it seems
It
as
says nothing about ice surfing. I am personally a dumbass.
No.
Steve's got a bad memory. I think
This isn't your
I think
fault.
what does it say about ice surfing employing Steve? I think is a better question.
That's fair.
No. In all seriousness, no. If Ilya Kovalchuk, who is 36, but playing lights out,
And trying.
almost a point a game with Montreal,
Yes.
if he is worth a second, what is Thomas Tatar, who is literally always 25 goals in the bank? Always.
Is he expiring?
He's got one more year left. And
Isn't it dumb
For a
that
team-
his trade value is lower because he actually makes money? I hate the salary cap, dude.
yeah, me too. It's stupid.
Ilya
And it
Kovalchuk, who
economically
should
doesn't-
be making more.
Thomas Tatar is playing at almost a point a game pace this year. He's got 50 points in 55 games.
You talk about a guy who was bad for like 20 games of his NHL career.
Yeah, with Vegas. That's it.
Like,
That's
and he
it.
scored a pretty important goal for them in the playoffs. So, like, geez.
He hasn't not scored 20 goals at least in a season since 13-14.
Now,
He makes $4.8 million.
Do you hold on to him because you're Montreal and you think you're going to be better next year? That's what I'm thinking.
I think you trade him. And the reason I think you trade him is because I think you can get good value for him. And you either parlay that value into somebody else or you just use it and draft some good players. I think I mean, I don't know what to do in Montreal. I think they're screwed several different ways. I would also, if I were them though, I would just tear it down and keep Price and say, fuck it, we're still rebuilding.
I don't think Bergevin's allowed to do that.
He
the
should.
comeback screwed everything up.
Tatar, Petrie, all those guys, they should all be gone because they're going to give you so much back. Like Jeff Petrie, right-handed shooting guy who skates and plays like he does, he's exactly what the Edmonton Oilers need.
LMAO. Dude, the comeback last night screwed everything up. You get run out of the building by the Devils, and you're as far out of the playoffs as they are. Your path is set. But now they pull themselves to within 7. You have an inspiring win. It's Kovalchuk. He does the shush. Max Domi tweeting, "Oh, what a legend."
He has a bit of a legend for that.
Like, are they going to find themselves in a situation where they're like, you know what, we're standing pat, and they miss the playoffs again, and they acquire nothing? They might. Mark Bergevin's got to make a decision here. And by Mark Bergevin, I mean ownership. Like, you're talking about, like, what he can and can't do. If you're already on to the qualifier of what your GM can and can't do, you are done with that GM. All you got to do is be adult enough to make that decision. So Jeff Molson has a decision to make. Is this your guy or not? I mean, every time... This is when Mark Bergevin is at his strongest. Whenever I think he's done, he...
rises from the ashes like a phoenix.
It's unbelievable, this guy. He's been fired by the Montreal Canadiens as many times as Chris Kreider has been traded. It feels like a lot, but it's actually been 0 times.
If you want a team that's good enough to almost make the playoffs, Bergevin's your guy.
Ooh, Adam.
Where's the lie?
Does Bergevin have more first-round wins than the Leafs?
Yes.
Yes, he does.
All right.
Not a high bar.
Yeah, if you set it by the lowest possible bar, which is the Leafs.
It's a bar.
It sure is. But I wouldn't, if I'm Bergevin, I wouldn't want to be measuring myself against the success or lack thereof of the Leafs.
If you limboed under that bar, Simon Cowell would be impressed. It was very low, Jesse.
It's a very low bar.
Thank you for that reference.
I try.
All right.
I'm a funny guy and also accurate about hockey things.
If this was the voice, would you hit the button and turn around your chair?
Oh, yeah, and I would Christina Aguilera fake be impressed. I've never heard this before.
Yeah, Christina Aguilera with one of the best voices in history is like, yeah, I'm really impressed with your voice, nobody.
I've been in the industry for like 2.5 decades, and wow,
you really blew me away. Third person in a row that's blown me away.
Guy from a coffee shop who can sing.
I have 45-minute showers every day because I'm too busy singing. Wow.
Dude, have you seen... Listen, I've seen Christina Aguilera live, and you can... I'm not a big fan of Christina Aguilera's music, but that woman has a voice that is so effing powerful. It's like crazy.
Yeah.
So the fact that she was impressed by anybody on that show is shocking to me. Just shocking. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. You're not me. So that would be the whole voice. I just never turn my chair.
It's like McDavid sitting there watching just regular hockey. Being
Yeah.
like,
All right,
what am I supposed to do?
We now return to the voice with Adam Wilde.
Still don't hear it.
Just the whole time. Just chilling.
Guys, I sang Moulin Rouge, okay?
Right.
So, like...
I sang You Are Beautiful.
Yeah,
No
right?
matter what you do.
That's right.
Adam just tweeting the whole time, LMAO, they suck. Live during the show.
Well, it would be like McDavid on a similar show with a bunch of beer leaguers.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Turn around when you think one of them's good at hockey.
Yeah.
He's like, what? I'm McDavid.
None of them
You
are good.
almost pulled that toe drag off? That was sick.
But that 65-year-old that you almost pulled it off, who fell over when you made him switch blades.
That was legit.
It's legit. All right, listen. Let's get in the press conference.
The Presser. SDP. The Steve Dangle Press Conference.
I think Montreal has a lot to be gained from this trade deadline, and they could set themselves up for a couple years down the road right now. They're not going to, but I really fully believe.
Listen.
The Montreal Canadiens could do some serious damage if they would just accept the fact that this team is not good enough right now. They don't have the top-end talent to be good enough. They don't have it. They've got good players. Name a player on Montreal who's great.
Carey Price sometimes.
Name another guy. Shea Weber. He's great. He is great. He's had a great year.
Yeah.
How long is he going to be great for? Don't know. But legitimately, all world players?
We're not
None.
talking good.
Zero.
They have many good players.
Yes.
Adam, it's amazing what you can do when the people you pay to play hockey try.
We owe a shout out to
Louis Domingue.
the greatest goal
Charlie
scorer in NHL history.
Justin Williams.
Austin Matthews.
Neither of those people. We owe a shout out to Alexander Ovechkin.
Just holy
who
shit.
now has 14 goals. I'm just reading this off Sportsnet stats because they put out an Ovechkin little thread because he has been unbelievable. He now has 14 goals in his last 7 games. That's 14 goals and 1 assist. His 14 goals since January 13th are double the next closest skaters in that time. That's Kucherov and Stamkos with 7.
He scored more goals in his past 7 games than like Jamie Benn and Jeff Skinner have all year.
Ovi needs just 2 goals to become the 8th player in NHL history to score 700. He is now 196 back of tying Wayne Gretzky for most in history. Most 40-goal seasons in history, Wayne Gretzky with 12, Alexander Ovechkin with 11.
Whoa.
After that, Mario Lemieux with 10.
He's going to, laugh his way to 60. It's ridiculous.
And you guys think I'm crazy for thinking that he can get it done.
I don't.
I
don't.
Yeah, he's getting there.
He's going to be within probably 180, 175 of Gretzky by the end of the year.
Yeah.
It's literally up to him.
Alexander Ovechkin, his 27th career hat trick last night, passes Rocket Richard for sole possession of 8th place in NHL history. He needs one more hat trick to tie Bobby Hull and Marcel Dion for 6th most in history.
What a mutant. What a frigging mutant.
Unbelievable. Shout out Ovi.
Jesse, what was the final score in the Sharks-Flames game last night?
The Sharks-Flames game.
I was driving home during this game.
Did it not close out ice surfing?
No, because ice surfing ends at 10 p.m. Eastern.
I know that.
Yeah.
The Sharks
Oh, that's
won.
right, because you guys don't care about the West Coast.
The Sharks won
kidding,
3-1 in a game that...
I'm kidding.
Leafs net.
You always get shit from us.
No, I know. No, they're always very kind. They're very kind and nice.
the Sharks won 3-1 in a game that Giordano left injured.
That team is
Calgary.
in trouble.
You think so?
When you were talking about playoff team, oh yeah. Yeah. Sometimes you suffer a loss in a certain way, and I think it affects you.
Which loss was it? The Edmonton one?
The Edmonton one.
Really? But that was like less than a week ago.
Yep. Dude, they got their teeth kicked in. It was embarrassing. Lucic got embarrassed into fighting last night against noted tough guy Barclay Goodrow of the San Jose Sharks. And then they lost to the San Jose Sharks.
It was a bit funny when all the reporters said, so, hey, where were you in that Edmonton game? He's like, I don't know about you guys, but this is not the 1980s. It was like, yeah, man, but like when you were acquired, Treliving said that was your job. I don't necessarily agree with the description, but that's why they got you.
Hockey's got a goofy culture. If you go up to one of those Oilers who are your buddies and you go, listen, we got to have like a fake tilt.
They do it.
Even a real one. They do it. Cassian didn't have anyone to dance with. Like, dude, grab someone, do something, and listen.
Just grab them. You don't have to fight. Just grab them.
It's a tough position to be in. No one's paying me to fight. I don't want to do that. I like my face. Ow. I like my hands. Ow. But what is it you would say you do here? And don't say goals or assists. That doesn't happen. Those don't go in. So, what is it? What is it? Oh, you fight Barclay Goodrow. Good. Like that's what you do here? The Flames. And now that okay, so you're off the rails, right? You got to get it back on. You're a playoff team. You can get it back on. Oh shit. Giordano's out of the lineup, and for God knows how long. Uh-oh. And the Pacific is tight as shit.
It is tight.
Uh-oh. That could be a big
They're currently in a playoff spot.
Oh, I know.
Wild card spot.
I know. It's an uh-oh, though. It's a big one.
They're 5-4-1 their last 10. They don't look that bad. It's not good enough to make the playoffs.
They didn't get their ass kicked 8-3 by the Oilers 10 games ago. We'll see how the next 10 goes.
So
Watch.
you really think
they'll win 8 straight.
You think that Oilers game could be pivotal?
Could be. Certainly could be. Dude, Tampa took like 3 months to recover from losing to Columbus. 3 months into this season. So really they took like 6 or 7 months to recover from that loss. And now they're murderers again. But it took them a while. Sometimes you get embarrassed in a certain way and it affects you. That team can't score. They got their asses kicked in like almost every fight they were in. And right now they're on the lower half of the Battle of Alberta. It's a tough look. If you're the Flames, you want to play the Oilers as soon as frigging possible. You want to get over that. You gotta win. They gotta win themselves out of this funk, because I think it's a funk. I know it's only been a couple games, but something. That team is ready to go rotten. They're ripe for the picking.
Wow.
And they're not young. They're not the Oilers. They're not, and the Oilers are asterisk. They are McDavid and Draisaitl, right? But They're not the Oilers. They're not the Canucks either. Could be a tough look.
Vancouver, top of their division right now.
Could be a tough look for the Calgary Flames, man. I'm just saying, watch that. That seems like a train wreck waiting to happen.
You just went in on them.
Or they could win
I'm
the cup.
shocked. Maybe he's right.
Or they could win the cup.
You can't say that now.
They have lots of talent. There's no question. All right, should we do the press conference? Or did I already call for that?
We already did.
We're in it, okay.
The one thing we talked about earlier was goal differential. And Steve, you're wondering some of the most recent modern day worst goal differentials because Detroit is currently on pace to be historically bad. Now, since let me go back one more year. Since 2010, 2011, the worst goal differential we have is the Buffalo Sabres of 14-15.
The McMichael Sabres.
This is the last 10 years.
They were terrible.
They were minus 113.
What were the Avalanche that had like 48 points?
Now, the second place is the Avalanche of 16-17.
Right.
They were minus 112. So they beat the Sabres by 1 point. They are the bottom two in the last decade. Third worst comes the Sabres of 13-14, who were negative 91.
Poor Dwayne.
Now,
There
I say
was a
those
jersey
things.
on the ice last night, by the way,
Oh, yeah.
in Buffalo. It's getting ugly.
The bottom three in the last 10 years in terms of goal differential. Minus 113, minus 112, minus 91 for the Sabres. So right now, the Red Wings sit
Third.
negative 190, or no, 100, negative 96. So they've already passed the Sabres of 13-14 and are well on their way to own the record for the last 10 years.
How many points do they have right now? What's their record? Does Jimmy Howard have 2 wins? Did I see that?
They're 12, 38, and 4.
Fuck!
They have 28 points. I feel bad.
Oh my God. Oh, Detroit fans, I'm sorry. You knew, though. It was great talking to Brad and Ryan on the winged wheel, the dub-dub, at the beginning of the season. They knew.
Yeah,
And
Detroit fans are good
about
it.
Here's how to prepare for a shit season. Here's how to prepare for a season where you know you're trying to finish last.
You just kind of enjoy it.
Yeah.
I had fun that year.
Man, and like the injuries too. Did you see? So Anthony Mantha hasn't been back since the Jake Muzzin incident. He's got a punctured lung. From
Jimmy
that.
Howard is 2-20 and 2.
You're making that up.
No,
Whoa.
he's 2-20 and 2. That's unbelievable.
Holy shit.
They're unwatchable.
Wow.
222.
At least
You know
Bernier
what?
has 10 wins.
How
you know?
much time
That's
is
unbelievable. That's unbelievable that he has 10 other wins. Wow. Jonathan Bernier for Vezina. Holy shit. Yeah, if you can get him out of Detroit, I'm telling you, he might be,
If
he might be the
he
answer.
went like on a 4-game winning streak, he'd be 500.
If he went on a 4-game winning streak, he should win the Hart Trophy.
He has a 908 save percentage.
I think Adam might be right about the Red Wings and not being able to beat an AHL team. I don't know if the Marlies are that
People
AHL
were
team.
upset that I said that, but I'm right.
Could the Detroit Red Wings beat the Grand Rapids Griffins?
In a 7-game series.
Their own AHL.
Well, here's the
team.
thing: the Griffins have Zadina, so they can score
Valeno
goals.
and etc. Buddy, oof, that's awful.
I think they could still beat an AHL team in a 7-game series. I'm sorry.
I think they could,
yeah.
but I think if
'Cause-
you did the simulation enough times, an AHL team definitely wins. Could they?
Yes.
In a 7-game series, at the end of this one, and each player gets $4 million. Like, it's just funded by some philanthropist, whatever. Could the
Elon
Kelly
Musk.
Cup champions
Yes.
beat the Detroit Red Wings in a 7-game series? Kelly Cup is the ECHL.
No. I think if you run
champions?
if you run that simulation 100 times, Detroit comes out 100. But I think versus an AHL team, the best AHL team right now, whichever one's most on fire, I think if you ran that simulation 100 times, the AHL team would win a percentage of those. A substantial percentage.
Holy shit. They might not eclipse 40?
Points?
Yeah.
If they're lucky. Like, I don't think they're not close.
Oh my God.
They got to get 12.
Well, they got to get 6
wins.
more wins.
I don't know if they could do that. They're at 12.
At the pace they're on, they might just hit 40.
Yeah.
They've got 12 wins in 54 games.
A 6-game losing streak.
On a 6-game losing streak, but on the pace they're at, so that's 2/3 essentially of the way through the year ish.
Yeah.
So if you they could get to 18 wins.
If you're a playoff team or within 6 points of the playoffs and you lose to the Detroit Red Wings, you should bag skate all your players till they puke. Every single one. You don't leave the rink until every last one of them's thrown up. Holy shit.
That's bad.
so bad.
That's really bad.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's good.
All right.
Enjoy that there, Red Wings fans.
Hey, yeah,
We
that
should
was
have
fun.
Brad and Ryan on.
To talk about what?
I just want to hear the pain. That's all.
You do? That's cruel, man.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I love those guys. I'm just saying, like, hey, so you're bad. Yeah, we're bad.
Yeah, Steve, you dick.
Shout out to the Wing Wheel Podcast. It's a great listen. You got to check it out. And I'm just kidding about for what? Seriously, that's a great show. And you know what?
I'd love to know what the hell they talk about
When we were last in the
this
NHL,
year.
they bothered with our show, as did you, many of you. So thank you.
Yeah, we did a whole podcast.
Hey,
And you know
what?
what?
Whole year.
Gets us to the first round.
It was like that was the year. It was like, oh guys, that William Nylander is gonna be great, and Mitch Marner's winning all the stuff in the OHL.
That was one of 5 years straight where I said Josh Levo's ready to break out.
And he was.
He was.
Just another right
turns out.
coach. Anyway, bye. We'll see you Sunday.
The Steve Dangle Podcast. Follow the guys on Twitter at Steve_Dangle, at Adam WYLDE, and at Jesse Blake. Brought to you by Panago Pizza. Order at panago.com and stuff your face with deliciousness. Connection complete.